The meeting, Bay County Veterans Affairs Committee, Tuesday, February 18th at 3 p.m. Roll call, please.
Stewart?
Present.
Fergandy?
Here.
Lazars?
Here.
And Toll?
Here.
Begay?
Here.
All present.
We have minutes from two meetings, one on the 7th of January 2020 and one from the 21st of January 2020.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Citizens input.
Good afternoon, everybody. At this time, I would like to give you the what the Bay County Vets Council did for 2019. We had a total of 167 military funerals, 30 times twice in the same day, 3 times twice in the same day, 4 times once in the same day. Out of town, we're out of town, Fisherville 6 times, Linwood St. Anne 6 times, Auburn 4 times, Pinconning St. Michael's once, St. Valentine's and Beaver once, and there's a couple here in Bay County for a total of 21. This report does not include Memorial Day services, which start at 8:30 in the morning till 2 p.m., Veterans Day ceremonies, 3 places, Pearl Harbor Day ceremonies, plus memorial services at the Edson, 9/11, and other places when we're asked. In closing, as you heard, we've been pretty busy, and we enjoy doing what we can for the veterans in Bay County. Gary Javiski, Honor Guard Commander.
Would you have a copy for our secretary? And I see you're out in the snow a few times too. A few snowstorms. Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Yes, thank you.
Any other citizens' input? Mr. Zippler.
Just a question. I guess Craig would be the one to ask. You haven't made any more progress on the new van?
I guess, which fan are you referring to?
Well, I guess the county was trying to procure us a new van for the transportation program.
There's a couple different things at play. At one time, we were looking at a possible vehicle through, whether it was like the sheriff's office or something along those lines. We were able to get the sedan and not any additional vehicles at the time for whatever. Either it went to another department, they had their a claim on it before we did, or something like that. But I can give an update to something else here momentarily. So there might be other options.
We need a grant first. To show us the money. Any other citizen input?
Hi, my name's Mark. I've got the food pantry from Praying Hands for Vets. It's going very well. We have had probably about 50 to 75 vets that's gone through. I've already got one that went through today. I've got 3 more that's going through tomorrow, but it's doing very, very well. And I want to thank you, everybody that's been helping out with it too. Thank you.
Also want to note that you received an award at the Vet of the Year, have a plaque that you received for your service. Well, you got one too, though.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
I didn't make her out of town.
Any other citizens' input? Petitions and Communications Grant Update. This is a spot for it here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just a quick update, as we talked about last week. So the application has been filled out. It is currently undergoing Corporation Council review, and then the chairman of the Board of Commissioners will sign that, and turn that application. We'll be able to submit that application by the 21st, which is this coming Friday. They required, a budget and some itemized lists on there. One of the things that we're currently looking at, as Mr. Zippler was talking about, after talking to one of the transportation drivers, is possibly looking at a couple minivans. Apparently, they seem to be in favor of that size of vehicle for ease of transportation and of individuals and the capacity that those hold. So that'll be one thing we're definitely looking at doing. It looks like available money, like I said, is $90,000, so shouldn't be an issue, as well as there's other items on the grant, on the application, on the itemized list as well. But just a quick update with that, looking like we're on schedule and get that submitted, and off we go.
How long did it take? Well, I guess last year was a little bit different.
Yeah, I was reading quickly, the award letter shouldn't take too long to get a response back. I was looking at the timeline that was in the guidelines, and then how much, they can say it would take, X amount of weeks, but it's hard to say once, maybe some counties decided not to submit, and those types of, there could be a whole, different things that come into play depending on, determine how long it takes us to get the money, but I don't expect it to be a long wait. We're almost to March already, so should be a quick turnaround.
Options that we've talked about, I'll have to talk about it once we receive the grant.
Correct.
Jumping the gun a little bit.
A little bit.
Any questions about the grant? All right, reports, resolutions, military Purple Heart request. Now, I actually acted on this already. It's in the budget. It's in the county commissioner's budget. I know some of the other organizations have gotten the money before, and it's pretty much routine. So I don't think it really needs to come to this committee, or does it?
Because it relates directly to Veterans Affairs, even though it's a line item in the Board of Commissioners budget, I think that this board would have to vote on it, and then it goes to the Board of Commissioners. But it has been something that's just consistently been approved every year, that there's been a request because it is budgeted.
So should we take a formal vote on it, since it's actually passed the board already?
Yeah.
So,
I have a question.
yeah,
How many members of the Military Order of the Purple Heart are there in Bay County?
that's probably a good question. I don't know if Mark would have a rough idea of how many MOPH. Yeah.
Are there 2,500 or are there 2?
It's not just the Purple Heart Veterans in Bay County, it's for a convention, a state
I understand
convention.
that.
And they bring them
Money's
in,
coming from Bay County.
money comes from Bay County to bring people in throughout the state, and we get their money. They spend their money in hotel rooms and gas and food and lodging. So it's a way to get other people's money into Bay County by hosting those conventions.
This is not technically a service that's provided to veterans. It's simply a separate statute that the county proper funds a separate line item for this particular type of activity every year. And it does not come out of any millage funding or state grant funding. It comes out of the county's general budget.
No, we've been doing it for quite a while. It was 1,000, then they raised it to 2,500 a while ago. There was.
So does every veterans organization, they can apply for the state convention monies as long as it's held in Bay County?
They can.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
We've done
Yeah.
it twice.
Has to be held in Bay County. I think we had one before that was going to hold it outside of Bay County and
The VVA was.
didn't approve it.
They were gonna say that.
And so long as I have been here since 2014, no request under this line item has ever been denied.
Any other questions? Who could answer Mike's question? Military Order of the Purple Heart. Who's the commander? They were at the meeting the other day.
Twice.
I want to say John DeWise.
John DeWise, that's right, his name is on the letter. Yeah, so John DeWise would maybe have an idea. I know at one time we were trying to do a census of the veterans in Bay County, of how many veterans we actually do have. I don't know how far we got with that. I know it was one of the projects of the Soldiers and Sailors Relief Fund before they went away, to sort of get an idea of what the numbers were. But they, I don't know if they had military
Well,
Order of the Purple Heart separated out.
Keith Markstrom was looking at the numbers in the county,
Right.
but not broken down by which organizations.
Right.
All for veterans.
So I guess we do not need a motion.
I would make a motion in support of granting the 2,500 convention money.
Support?
Any discussion?
Yes.
Bill?
That comes out of the county budget, not out of soldier.
It comes, it is a Board of Commissioners county budget line item, yes.
I don't understand why we're voting on it then.
Yeah.
Probably don't need to.
Because this is the Department of Veterans Affairs, all of the line items should fall under this department and flow through this department first, and
Yep.
then on to the Board of Commissioners. If this was already presented to the Board of Commissioners, I think maybe somebody got the cart before the horse.
We probably need to get
I don't remember.
a list of those items that we would need to
Military organization.
move on.
Fruit bar.
All right, any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, old business,
How about
burial.
opposed?
Okay.
Aye.
Oh, sorry, opposed.
Aye.
Sorry, okay. 4-1. It passes. Burial expenses. So, do we, I don't have a motion on it yet, or have we just been discussing it?
It was supposed to go back to corporate
yes.
counsel to give us more guidance on the act for the funeral expenses.
Okay, and I apologize, I guess I don't know the question.
Okay.
We've had some discussion.
Is that the form I was putting together? If it's the form I put together requesting veterans' assets, and the question came up by Marilyn, can the county opt out of that? If the county opted out of the burial reimbursement, if they opted out, would they opt out of the whole act? Or could they opt out of, well, we'll give the $300 for honorable discharge veterans, but we don't care about the $40,000 limitation in the act. If you have $1 million, we would go ahead and give the 300.
If there's a requirement that they are allowed to have that benefit if they qualify under certain financial circumstances, you can't selectively opt out of a qualification.
Okay, but there was a question I had in that act that it was something under the discretion of the Board of Commissioners,
County Board of Commissioners.
County Board of Commissioners, if they wanted to opt out or not.
If they
And-
wanted to simply provide that benefit to anyone
Correct.
that they chose.
Yes.
Okay.
And the Board of Commissioners, everyone I've talked to, Bay County, never knew about this act.
Okay.
So I'm saying we need more advice of what that act says,
Okay.
since it never went to the Board of Commissioners
That the current board knows of.
and the current board.
Okay. And what I will do also, in addition to the interpretation of that act in terms of whether or not they can opt out, is I will check with the board coordinator and see if she can find in past resolutions the last time it was brought up before the board, because there should be some type of formal resolution that deals with that issue. It may predate all of the members that are currently on the board, but she's very good at finding those things.
Been here 18 and I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember us talking about it.
She found something from the 1960s for me the last time I asked, so she's pretty resourceful.
Yeah, but it depends on when that act formally went into
Into effect and when it would have been
effect.
amended.
That would be the
Yeah.
year that you would look for the okay from the county commissioner. It could be 7 years ago.
Okay, I will look at that statute, I will get with the board coordinator, and I will have a written opinion to you before the next meeting.
Thank you.
Look for that. Bylaws and rules. We have quite a few here.
Okay, I give
Agenda.
everyone a
Yeah.
copy of the final draft of the bylaws and the administrative rules. Please take them with you, and then over the next month, pen and ink changes on there. When I get back next month, I will make changes, and then we can vote on them.
And we should probably have our staff lawyer.
Yeah, I
look at
have a
it.
copy for
Yeah.
the JAG. Excuse me, do we call you the JAG?
You can call me whatever you like. I have lots of
Some light
things.
reading.
I have had an opportunity to review them just as a general overview, so you're aware of some of the things that I will be bringing up prior to their adoption. I have some concerns over the fact that we've included some, what appears to be a job description and job responsibilities for certain individuals, that being the director, the veteran service officer, and the assistant veteran service officer. My concerns are due to the fact that the director is an Act 139 political appointee, and because of that, he has a separate job description that is governed 100% by the county executive. I don't believe that this board would have the authority to determine what that person's responsibilities and job description is. And as it relates to the other two individuals, we can run into some Fair Labor Standard Act and IRS complications if we are specifically setting forth a lot of the job responsibilities that they have in the bylaws, due to the fact that you're treading a very blurry line regarding independent contractor versus employees, and whether or not you want to subject yourself to that liability. Why I certainly think that it is understandable you would want to include those positions in your bylaws to prove that you have them. I don't think that you're going to want to get into detail in terms of talking about the specific requirements that those particular individuals should be fulfilling in the course of their job.
Would it be better in an administrative procedure outside of the bylaws?
I don't think that you need an administrative procedure with regard to that, because each of those individuals, either if they're an independent contractor, they already have a contract that sets out the requirements of their job, or if they're an employee, they have a job description that's held by the Department of Human Resources on the third floor. So, something that you don't even have to worry about.
So some light reading over the next few weeks. And the other new business.
Mr. Chairman, just real, we don't have anything firm, as we talked briefly, but we did get a response back from the engraving company for Mr. Ewell, and it looks like cost is somewhere around $100, or they may just waive it on their part, but
Fall in the purchasing discretionary. We have, some places have, like, you can do up to a certain amount without action. It's like $100 for the engraving on the stone out here for the Ewell family. By the way, I saw there was a Ewell that was on the obituaries, and I was going to try to track them down. It wasn't in this area, it's West Branch or somewhere up north. Because I've been looking online, and I haven't found much in this area for the Ewell family.
I believe that the amount that you're talking about, $100, it falls, for the purchasing policy, it falls under the required amount that you would need any type of official action. You can just use a purchase order.
Yeah. And wait till the springtime probably, and try to find the family. That's the other thing. So if anybody knows any Ewells in the listening audience, because I've been looking online for Bay County, and I didn't find any in Bay County. So we'd like to have some family there if possible, or if not, then the church, there was a church member actually nominated or brought it to our attention, so we can invite some of the church members to attend. Yeah.
To high school.
Any other new business? I passed out the House bill from Representative Elder's office that his aide, Mark Salober, has been working on. I got to meet with him. There actually are three bills, but the first one is really the main part of it. The second bill just talks about the form of government that we have, because we have the county exec, so there's some wording that they had to clean up. And then also about that it doesn't, and there's one other bill, it's sort of a cleanup that if there's any conflicted areas that would be resolved somehow. So it's really a housekeeping type thing, but the one that we presented to you is the main part of it, and it talks about Soldiers and Sailors Relief Fund and what indigent, trying to define indigent. There was a amount of money set aside for emergency funding. that we have some trouble with. So anyway, we have a meeting scheduled tentatively Monday at 1 o'clock, third floor, with Representative Elder, I guess if he's there, or Mark Saloger. So that's still tentative, by the way. I'll send an email out. They weren't sure, they had to check his schedule. So, and you're all invited if you want to attend. It's at 1 o'clock down on the third floor. There's a conference room in the personnel department from 1 to 2 to talk about the bill.
What was the date again?
That'd be 24th, Monday the 24th, next week, 1 to 2.
February?
Yeah, this month, yeah, that's Monday.
Yeah, and I'd like to be there as well. I know one of the limitations Vaughn and I discussed in the proposed bill was a $300 maximum. And, you know, to help a veteran, last spring, we visited the home of Carl Weiss, who, is it Carl? Yeah, Carl Weiss, I think. He had 4 terms in Vietnam, 3 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star. And he'd been living in his home in the cold, wearing a coat all winter long, a big house on 5th Street. And he was just so absolutely delighted when he was just happy as could be when he died. He didn't have to wear a coat inside his house. And it's a large older home. He lives there alone on just off Center Avenue. An older home, but older, and the boiler was very, very archaic and old, and the cost of replacing the boiler was $2,500, and UAW Local 85 plumbers and pipe fitters installed it at no charge for him, and they do that frequently. So occasionally we may have, you know, requests that will exceed $300, and maybe that could be a typical range, but for unique circumstances, I'd like to see this committee and our staff have the ability to exceed that $300 limit if it doesn't solve the problem for a veteran, and if we have the money. And so far, I don't think, staff's here, I don't think we've had anyone with really abusing it coming in regularly. I couldn't speak to that, but Mark or Crystal probably could.
Mark?
You're speaking of utility bills, et cetera?
Well, the case of the boiler.
Oh, the boilers, that's a very rare case that we get, that anyone's come in for a furnace or required something major like that done to their house, in which case we're limited based on what we can do. And so we usually work with Kevin out at the National Guard, who has other funds and other contacts with folks that, for example, the union or the other gentleman, and they were able to.
We've also had utility bills that get so high that the utilities are being shut off, and they would exceed $300. So we'll hopefully have a productive discussion, and this will be an improvement, not going backward, toward what we want to do to help our veterans who have served our country.
There is an analysis from, I don't know if it's from the Legislative Service Bureau or not, of the legislation that Mark gave me. And then Amber did her summation. That's the other section I gave you.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments?
Miscellaneous? Are we in miscellaneous? Yeah, if we're on another topic. I want to apologize to my friend Fred Zickler. Fred, I got there just after you left at AMVETS yesterday. I had 3 visitations of close personal friends I had to visit. And I was assuming, I know that we had the date down for the AMVETS Veteran of the Year banquet. So I was there last night, just after Marilyn left. So I want to apologize for there was quite an event for Bernie Burnett at the American Legion. Getting in and getting out was a lot more difficult than I thought, but I got there around 5-ish, I think, and it was pretty well dissipated. There were some people left, but I guess Marilyn had just left and you had just left as well. And then also I want to say that Marilyn Lazars, who is the 2020 Veteran of the Year, congratulations. I'm sorry that I wasn't present when you received your award. But Marilyn and I went to high school together, the former Marilyn Pragaki, correct?
Yes.
Same graduating class as Central High, and we're very proud, Marilyn, how your tenacity and your determination to help veterans after your military service concluded was recognized by the Veterans Council. We also have some other great people that I'm sure in line to be honored, in the next year and the year after. So I apologize for my absence. I did get there late, but unfortunately I didn't have the correct times on my schedule. I thought I had time to get out in time to enjoy the program, but three, it's, I guess, a sign of our generation, with three different, not funerals, but visitations to attend. And so I apologize for that, but I want to congratulate Marilyn Lazarus on that wonderful award and accolade she received from her peers in the Veterans Council in Bay County.
Thank you.
Your picture will be down by the front entrance as you come in the front door for the next year.
I think it's over at the post office, too.
Yeah. Any other announcements? I just have the St. Patrick's Day Parade coming up the 15th. There'll be a lot of veterans walking in that, so they're looking for veterans to march, so usually towards the front of the parade somewhere. So come on along.
As normal, after the, actually before the parade,
Yeah.
after the run, the American Legion is open with warm bathrooms, and we'll have some, probably some bratwurst and some food, and some beer, of course, and we'll have...
Green beer?
We'll have live music. No, there's no free beer. That's illegal in the state of Michigan.
No, green beer. Green beer.
Green beer. We'll have a little thing of food dye that they'll do one glass at a time. Because nobody wants green beer on Monday, the day after. That's right.
That's true, yeah.
Any other announcements? Motion to adjourn would be in order.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.